sometimes silence helps. If you don't have anything good or your delivery is not going to be respectful, then it's better you just be silent. If you are struggling with something and it's really personal and it's going to be very sensitive for you to talk about it, then don't speak about it. Be silent. Sometimes being silent doesn't mean you are a coward or you are not confident. It just means that you are able to practice self-control. There's a scripture, I can't remember where it is exactly. I think it's in Proverbs or Ecclesiastes. He says, I'm going to say it in the King James Version. Seeth a man that withholds nothing, a fool is better than him. What it means is, if you talk too much, you're not better than a fool. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm an extrovert. I talk a lot. So that's not what I mean. Or that's not what that scripture means, as far as I know. What it means is, if you say everything that's in your mind all the time, then you will be very foolish, because sometimes you want to keep some things and walk through the issues before you speak. Then when you speak, you will be more impactful, right? So you just don't want to say things out of emotions or say things out of passion. It might sound legit to just say your mind, but it's not the best approach all the time. I have been guilty of this, so I know what I'm talking. I know what I'm talking about. Also, when it comes to being silent, sometimes you are able to control the narrative when you're silent, right? If you have an issue with someone and they're trying to drag you into a controversial thing and you don't want to be implicated, you have to be silent. There's something in law that, I don't know if it's like a principle, right? Um, Less is more, right? So if you have an issue in court or you have a legal issue and you have an attorney, they'll probably advise you not to speak too much. In criminal law, criminal procedure, they will advise you that you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used and will be used against you and all of that. That is why being silent is very important, because you can say something and then you get implicated, right? So not just in the legal world, but also even communicating with people. You don't want to say something that will come back and haunt you or come back and expose you or come back and get you in trouble. Like I said, I have had to work on being silent, right? And I know the power of being silent. And I also know the detriment that I have experienced from just running my mouth, because I love to talk and talk and talk and talk. So when you are able to practice self-control over your emotions, then it will be very easy for you to be silent, right? So for example, you have an issue with someone, maybe in the workplace or in the family or in the mall or in a social gathering. If you have practiced how to be silent and they ask you to say something, or they ask you, so what's your comment, what's your reaction, I want to hear from you. I'm like, I don't have anything to say right now. Well, let me get back to you. Or I'll send you a text. Or let me give you a call later today. Or I don't really have any comment right now. You say it in such a professional and polite way. Whoever is trying to, drag you into an argument or into any controversy will be like contained, right? They will be contained, and then you are able to control the narrative, and you are able to determine when you want to speak and what you want to talk about. So that power is in your hands. You take that power back. So it's something I'm still practicing, and is something I know benefits everybody that practices just being silent for some time. Now, I'm not talking about being silent because you want to be manipulative. I'm saying when you are in a combative or a tense, scenario, like a conversation, or you're experiencing something that might be, troubling, and you know that you might say something that might not be received well. That's what I'm talking about. Those are the kind of scenarios I'm talking about that you should be silent. Now, you are also able to protect information that matters to you, that is sensitive to you when you practice silence, right? So, for example, John the Baptist, his dad, when he was told in the temple that he was going to be a father, because himself and his wife, they were barren, they had no kids. And because of the questions he was asking the angel that came to give him the information, God made him dumb until the child was presented in I think it was presented in the temple. Anyway, the naming ceremony. That was when John's dad was able to talk for the first time. So imagine being silent for 9 months. Yeah, 9 months or 9 months and maybe almost 10 months, because from when he left the temple and came out and the wife got pregnant, 9 months, and then maybe, I don't know, 7 days, I don't know how many days, according to their tradition, when they will present the child. This guy was dumb for almost 10 months. That's how powerful silence is, right? Because if he had been talking and talking and talking and talking, he might have been saying negative things, expressing doubt and fear, legitimate concerns about the truthfulness or the integrity of God in regards to him and his wife having a child at their old age, you know? So that's how powerful silence can be. So this guy was silent for almost 10 months so that whatever had to be achieved was achieved successfully. And then he opened his mouth and he was able to talk. That shows you how powerful silence is. So I hope this blesses you, and I hope you will consciously try to practice being silent when the occasion calls for silence, right? And maybe I'll do a follow-up about different scenarios, but just know that being silent doesn't mean you are a coward, doesn't mean um you can't take control. It actually means that you can take control. It actually means that you are in control. It actually means that you have self-control. So don't forget that. All right, I'll see you in my next one.